Okay, if there's one thing, just one thing that almost everyone trying to get healthier runs into, it's that, ugh, sheer frustration with stubborn belly fat.
Oh, absolutely. We've all been there. You're doing everything right, the diet, the exercise, and still that one area just won't cooperate.
Exactly. And, that feeling, that desire for something to fix it, that's why the supplement market is just, it's flooded. Products claiming ancient secrets, exotic formulas.
Right. Formulas that sound maybe too good to be true sometimes.
Precisely. Which brings us neatly to today's topic for our deep dive,
Mm-hmm.
the Sumatra Slim Belly Tonic. Now, it's a modern supplement, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But its whole marketing angle, its whole brand,
Mm.
is built on this idea that it comes from ancient Indonesian herbal
Mm.
traditions, from Sumatra specifically.
And that's what we're here to do today, right? Our mission is to kind of cut through that marketing haze. We want to look at the real inspiration, the actual
Like
traditions.
Jamu.
Exactly, Jamo. And then we'll look at the science behind the ingredients they often use. We need to analyze the data on those botanicals and, maybe most importantly, set some realistic expectations and talk safety for you, the listener.
Okay, let's unpack this. So, naming it after Sumatra, that's deliberate, clearly. It makes you think of, exotic islands, ancient wisdom, natural power.
It does. And Sumatra is one of Indonesia's largest islands, right in the historical path of the spice trade. So there's definitely centuries of, well, really deep herbal knowledge there.
And that's where Jamu comes in, this traditional Indonesian herbal medicine system you mentioned.
Yes, Jamu. Although it's often linked really strongly with Java, the practice definitely spread across Indonesia, Sumatra included. But, and this is crucial, traditional Jamu wasn't really about fixing one specific problem, like, say, slimming down.
Ah, okay. That feels like a really fundamental point.
Yeah.
The sources suggest Jamu was more holistic.
Totally holistic. The goal was vitality, overall balance, purification, just general wellness. It involved simmering actual roots, barks, leaves, spices, whole ingredients.
So more like a wellness culture than a weight loss product you'd buy off a shelf.
Exactly. It wasn't commercial in that sense.
And if we look at what went into those traditional recipes, the ingredients themselves, well, they sound pretty familiar in today's wellness world, don't they?
They do. You see a lot of emphasis on common spices and roots, things like turmeric, ginger, galangal, often used fresh in drinks, sometimes even fermented.
Right. And then those aromatic elements.
Yeah, barks and fruits like cinnamon or tamarind. Those were often used to help with digestion, maybe support metabolic function generally.
And the green stuff, leaves like moringa or guava leaves, sometimes called detox ingredients now.
They were included for, maybe mild anti-inflammatory effects and just general nutrient density.
Yeah.
But here's the critical jump, the part that creates the whole issue we're diving into.
Okay.
Modern supplement companies. They borrow the names, they take these complex traditional ideas, and they concentrate them right down into a pill or a bottled tonic.
Designed for a very specific outcome, like fat loss.
Exactly. And the big question is, does that original holistic benefit actually translate when you hyper-concentrate everything like that? Does the ancient wisdom really carry over into a modern pill?
That's the core question, isn't it? And here's where it gets really interesting. What does the actual science, modern science, say about these concentrated island staples? Let's dive into those ingredients. Any product inspired by this region seems to feature the same core group. And right at the top usually is turmeric, traditionally known for anti-inflammation, digestion.
Yeah, in modern research, it's heavily backed up those anti-inflammatory claims. Specifically, it's about the active compound, curcumin.
Curcumin, okay.
And studies suggest curcumin can actually improve insulin sensitivity. Better insulin control is just fundamental for metabolic health, preventing extra fat storage.
Okay, but here's a catch, right? Something the sources really hammer home if you're buying a turmeric supplement. A big failure point for generic ones.
The absorption problem, it's huge. Curcumin on its own is, well, it's notoriously difficult for the body to absorb effectively.
So you could just be wasting it.
Pretty much, yeah. You might just be passing most of the benefit right through. To really work in a concentrated supplement form, curcumin needs to be formulated with piperine.
That's from black pepper.
Exactly, the
Yeah.
active compound in black pepper. It drastically increases the bioavailability, how much your body can actually use. It sounds like a tiny detail, but it's often the difference between a helpful supplement and, frankly, expensive dust.
Wow. Okay, that's a super practical tip for anyone looking at turmeric products. What about ginger? Traditionally a warming digestive aid, does it directly impact weight?
Well, more indirectly. Ginger might give a slight temporary boost to thermogenesis. That's your body producing heat, burning a few more calories. Maybe more importantly, it often seems to help increase satiety.
Feeling fuller.
Yeah, feeling fuller, maybe eating a bit less overall. These are modest effects, understand. But when you start snacking them with other ingredients that offer support, they can add up.
Right, it's about the combination. And you can't talk spices from that region without cinnamon. We use it for flavor, obviously, but metabolically.
Cinnamon's important. There's decent evidence suggesting it can modestly improve fasting blood glucose levels and insulin sensitivity. Again, that points back to core metabolic health.
Better blood sugar control means less signal to store fat.
You got it. Reduces the signal to the liver, telling it to store excess energy.
Okay, and what about the sour notes? Things like tamarind or maybe other Garcinia-type fruits.
Traditionally, those were often for cleansing or digestion. Modern supplement makers get excited about extracting compounds like HCA hydroxycitric acid from Garcinia
Why HCCA?
because there's been research looking at whether it might suppress appetite or maybe slightly inhibit fat absorption. The problem is the clinical results are really mixed, and it seems very dependent on specific doses, specific extracts, not clear-cut.
Okay. And finally, those leafy greens, moringa, guava leaves, maybe bitter melon, they bring the nutrients.
Yeah, their main contribution is likely polyphenols and fiber. These don't directly burn fat, but they're fantastic for helping with blood sugar control, glycemic response, and feeding a healthy gut microbiome,
Ah, the gut connection.
which we now know is so important for regulating mood, inflammation, even weight-related signals. So if you pull all this together, you can see why these commercial tonics are so appealing, right? The ingredients do offer these supportive effects, but let's be clear. They are not magic bullets. No single herb, no blend is going to just melt fat away on its own.
Right?
But what they can do is work through several, small, plausible mechanisms that, if combined, might give your bigger efforts a bit of a helping hand.
Okay, so let's try to synthesize that instead of just a list, maybe group them. How about what are the ways these botanicals help the body's metabolic processes, the engine itself?
Good idea. We could call it the metabolic trio. How about this?
A slight metabolic boost. That little uptick in energy expenditure from things like ginger, short term, but it's something. 2, improved insulin sensitivity. Getting better glucose management from compounds in turmeric and cinnamon. That helps reduce those fat-stirred signals we talked about.
Right, makes sense.
And 3, reduced inflammation. We know chronic low-grade inflammation is tied to metabolic problems, especially around abdominal fat. Some of these ingredients help tackle that.
Okay, metabolic boost, insulin sensitivity, inflammation. That covers the engine. What about the other side? Controlling what comes in and how the body processes it.
Let's call those the satiety and digestive drivers.
Appetite and satiety effects. Helping you feel fuller, which naturally helps lower overall calorie intake. That's key. 5, gut microbiome modulation. Those polyphenols acting like food for good gut bacteria, which seems linked to better weight regulation.
And the last one.
6, maybe reduced nutrient absorption, but mildly. Certain compounds might slightly inhibit how much fat or carbs you absorb. That's probably a minor effect, though.
The big takeaway here seems to be that it's all about system support, not targeted fat burning.
Yep.
You're making the machinery work a bit better. Exactly.
So that when you do the hard work, the diet, the exercise, maybe you see results a bit more easily?
That's the idea. The tonic, if it works at all, is like a support strut. You still have to build the foundation with lifestyle changes.
Okay, now we absolutely have to pivot. The reality check. Because the sources are crystal clear on this. Supplements, even herbal ones, are powerful substances. They aren't just benign food.
No, definitely not. Safety and a healthy dose of skepticism are crucial when you're dealing with concentrated botanicals.
But hold on, if these are just natural herbs people have used for centuries, why the big worry about a concentrated dose now?
Great question. The main concern is interactions. High doses of common herbs, especially turmeric, cinnamon, maybe some concentrated fruit extracts, they can interfere with prescription medications.
Okay, like what kind of medication? We're talking things that affect blood clotting, so blood thinners are a big one. Also, drugs for diabetes or high blood pressure. It is absolutely essential, non-negotiable really, to talk to your doctor or pharmacist before starting a concentrated tonic if you're on any regular medication.
Got it. Interactions. What else?
Dose itself matters hugely. A traditional jamu tea uses relatively small amounts of the whole herb. commercial extracts. They can concentrate the active compounds to levels far, far higher than your body would ever encounter traditionally.
Potentially overwhelming systems.
Potentially. And the third big risk is quality control, or the lack thereof. The supplement industry, unfortunately, isn't always tightly regulated. That means you could risk contamination with heavy metals, adulteration with cheap fillers, or even undeclared pharmaceuticals in dodgy products.
Wow. Okay. So if someone is looking at a product like the Sumatra Slim Belly Tonic or really any exotic herbal blend, what's the minimum checklist they need to go through?
Okay, first, demand transparency. Look for a clear ingredient list with specific dosages for each ingredient. If it just says proprietary blend with the total amount,
Red flag.
big red flag. They're hiding something, walk away. Second, look for proof of third-party testing. Certificates from reputable independent labs like USP or NSF are a good sign. It means someone else checked what's actually in the bottle.
Makes sense.
Testing. What else? Third, apply common sense to the claims. Be deeply skeptical of anything promising unrealistic results like melt belly fat overnight. Biology doesn't work like that.
Okay. Transparency testing, realistic claims. Anything else?
Clear warnings and contact information for the company should also be present.
Now, I have to push back on something you said earlier, or rather connect some dots. You mentioned stress raises cortisol, and cortisol is linked scientifically to storing fat around the abdomen, right?
Yes, that link is well established.
Yeah.
Chronic stress, high cortisol, it encourages visceral fat deposition.
Okay, so if a tonic helped reduce stress, maybe through some adaptogenic herbs or just the ritual of taking it, wouldn't that then specifically target belly fat by lowering cortisol?
Ah, I see where you're going. It's a logical thought, but it bumps up against the spot reduction myth.
Explain that.
While managing cortisol can absolutely help reduce the signal to store new fat, especially in the abdominal area due to stress, the process of burning already stored fat is systemic. Your body doesn't pick and choose fat cells based on a supplement you took.
So genetics decides where it comes off first.
Pretty much. Genetics and overall hormonal balance dictate where you tend to store fat and in what order your body releases it when you're in an energy deficit. A tonic can't override your fundamental biology to magically target just your waistline. Real, lasting fat loss always comes back to creating that energy deficit through diet and activity.
Excellent point. Important clarification. Okay, so putting the potentially risky, expensive commercial supplements aside for a moment, for someone who likes the idea, the traditional wisdom, what's a safer, more kitchen-friendly approach? The sources mention one.
They do. It's basically making your own simple DIY Sumatra-inspired tonic. Think of it less as a fat burner and more as a healthy, warming ritual using the whole ingredients.
Okay, what's in it?
Super simple. Hot water, some freshly grated turmeric root, some freshly grated ginger root, maybe a stick of cinnamon, and crucially, remember the absorption.
Black pepper.
A pinch of black pepper. That's key for the turmeric. You can add a squeeze of lime, maybe a tiny bit of honey if you need sweetness, but keep it minimal.
And the mindset shift is crucial here, isn't it? You drink this knowing it's a healthy habit. Maybe it replaces a sugary coffee drink. Maybe it aids digestion.
Exactly. It's a healthy ritual, not a magic potion engineered in a lab to strip fat.
So if someone wants real, lasting change, the tonic, whether commercial or homemade, is just the tiny piece of the puzzle.
A very small piece. We really need to focus on the big levers, the essential pillars that have to be solid alongside any kind of supportive tonic use. There are 5 key areas.
Okay, lay them out.
Pillar 1.
Nutrition has to be number 1. Focusing on a sustainable calorie deficit, eating slightly less energy than you burn consistently,
Right.
and focusing on whole foods, good protein, plenty of fiber,
Makes sense. Pillar 2.
exercise. And not just cardio. A mix is crucial. You need resistance training weights, body weight bands to build or at least preserve muscle mass while you lose fat. Muscle is metabolically active. Then add cardio for heart health and calorie burn.
Right. Muscle matters. Pillar 3.
Sleep and stress management. We just talked about cortisol. Chronic lack of sleep and high stress directly sabotage fat loss efforts, especially around the middle. This isn't optional. It's foundational.
Okay. Nutrition, exercise, sleep, stress. Pillar 4 must be the tonic itself. Using it smartly, yes. Pillar 4 is using the tonic as a supportive habit. Maybe it helps you feel full before a meal. Maybe it helps manage blood sugar slightly. Maybe it replaces a high-calorie soda. It supports, it doesn't drive.
Got it. And the last one, pillar 5.
Track objectively. Don't just rely on the scale, which fluctuates like crazy. Use a tape measure. Now notice how your clothes fit. Take progress photos. Track your habits. Objective data keeps you motivated and tells you what's actually working over time.
Those are the actions that actually move the needle.
Absolutely. The tonic, at best, just helps the machinery run a little smoother while you do the real work.
Okay, so wrapping this all up, what's the final verdict here? The Sumatra Slim Belly Tonic, it's clearly very effective branding, tapping into that allure of ancient wisdom.
It is, and the core ingredients it likely uses, turmeric, ginger, cinnamon, they do have real, scientifically supported properties that can aid metabolic health, fight inflammation. They're generally good for you.
But there's supportive aids, not miracle cures.
Exactly. Supportive aids for your overall health journey. They are not magic bullets that guarantee weight loss, especially not targeted belly fat loss. Think of them as a potential tool, but one that needs to be chosen carefully, verified for quality, and used alongside those proven lifestyle measures we just discussed.
So use them wisely, if at all, and focus on the big rocks: diet, exercise, sleep, stress.
Precisely. Now here's something else to maybe chew on. We spent this whole deep dive talking about how these botanicals might support metabolism specifically for the modern goal of weight loss. But consider the difference between a traditional remedy, like real jammu, which was focused on overall balance, vitality, just wellness, and a modern supplement that's laser focused on one commercial outcome, a slim belly.
Okay.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Does taking an ancient holistic tradition and commercializing it, narrowing its purpose down to just fat loss, does that fundamentally change the meaning of that knowledge? And maybe that loss of the bigger holistic context, is that the real risk when we just grab these products off the shelf looking for a quick fix?
Wow. That's definitely something powerful to mull over. Is the commercial goal distorting the original wisdom? Well, hopefully this gives you, our listeners, some tools to think critically and maybe explore some of these wonderful spices in your own kitchen in a healthy way. Thanks for diving deep with us today.
Always a pleasure.
We'll talk to you next time.